foam will always help you somewhat dampen the high frequencies, and that's pretty much it. If you want any real treatment, you need rock wool. I prefer rock wool to, some people use fiberglass, but I prefer rock wool for sure. Basic treatment on a room is fairly easy, and it's not even that expensive. You know, you treat your front wall, which is the wall in front of me right now where your speakers are, with usually you want panels that are at least 4 inches thick. You treat the corners, you know, all your corners. Ideally would be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the corners on the sides as well. And the best thing would be to use super chunks, so you cut the panels diagonally and you feel the entire angle. The one thing that everybody misses in home treatments is your back wall. So the wall that would be behind me, in front of your speakers, that is probably the most important to treat, and it's the most expensive to treat, and it requires a lot of real estate, because the entire back wall, floor to ceiling and left to right, should be a bass strap, should be treated with rock wool at least, and it needs to be thick. It needs to be, ideally, it needs to be like 6 to 8 inches thick. And to the other question, Nomadic Dream asks, do bass straps work? Of course they do. If done properly, yeah, they do. But they can't be this thin. They need to be like this thick. So that's the basic treatment. Then if you have a small room, you want to add a little bit of a diffusion. If it's like really small, you want to add a couple of clouds on top of you. Those can be like maybe 4 inches, even you can get away with 2, but yeah, and treat the first reflection points. The first reflection points, which should be where the 2 speakers each wall. So you're gonna have 1 and 2, like I have right here, right? You see on the panel. So you sit in the listening position, you have a friend putting a mirror against that wall, and you look at the mirror, you ask your friend to slide the mirror, and at some point you will see one speaker, you will see the first speaker, which is there for me, right? So you see the first speaker, that's gonna be the first spot where to put the panel. The second spot is where you put when you see the second speaker, and so on. You do it for both sides. And the side panels can be between 2 and 4 inches, but remember, the most important part is your corners and your back wall, the wall behind me. So that's absolutely vital, because what happens in smaller rooms and home studios is that you always have a bass null here in the listening position, right? Either you have a bass null or you have too much bass. Usually it's a bass null. The reason because that happens is because the waves, the sound waves, come out from your speaker, hit the back wall, and then they come back, and they meet the waveform that still come from your speaker. And when they meet here where you sit, they are these ones that come back from the wall, they are delayed, so they are out of phase. So you have a cancel here at the listening position. How you solve it? You treat the back wall. It needs to be like really, really thick, and ideally should be the entire wall.
Hands on my neck, hands grab my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so gone, my type. Don't you know I fall for the bad type? You play the role of an angel pretty well, but I can say you came straight